Hey Leo, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading. So this is a collective reading for Leo Sun or Leo Rising. So I've been incorporating more astrology lately into the readings, and I just was on a trip recently, haven't had time to really look over the astrology to the degree that I would want. So, and also it makes the videos way longer. So I think I'm just gonna make a separate video for that, is what I decided on. So that'll come out just a few days after these come out. So here we are taking a look at what is, I'm feeling this card here, what is coming up for the beginning, middle, and end of the month in June. I was feeling that card right there. And of course I had to use gold, my gold deck for my Leos. I was like, yeah, which deck do I want to use? This one. So, all right, and then what's coming up at the end of the month? I'm feeling this card here, actually. Okay. All right, Leo. And then we're going to also take a look at what is coming up as a challenge. Oh, I'm feeling like using the shadow deck. So not a tarot deck for this. Let's take a look at that. And it's feeling like this one here. Okay, and let's get some spiritual advice for navigating this month as well. So like I said, I will also, I have a bunch of videos coming out at the beginning of this month. I was traveling for the last part of May, so I just have not had time to really look at the astrology. Like I said, I'll have that out, but then also I will have the semi-bi-weekly readings that come out for, this one will be for the full moon to the new moon. That's happening on June 3rd. So I'll have, these videos will be out for the month, and hopefully the 1st or 2nd, I'll have the astrology for the first half of June out. And then a couple days later, I'll have the full moon to the new moon readings out as well. So lots to have. Definitely, if you want to make sure you know about that, hit the subscribe or the notification bell. All right, let's dive into it. So because this is a collective reading, we've been drawing from this astrology deck that I have to kind of use it as a focal point to give us what themes we can direct this entire reading towards, like what themes are coming up or what area of life. I love when we get a house card. It's just so much more clear. So, and you know what? It's been coming up a lot for basically every sign so far except for one. It's come up as either 10th house or midheaven. So that, I find this really interesting. And I'm shuffling my deck, so we have 10th house. If you're not familiar with 10th house, don't worry about it. I will tell you. So this has to do with your career, with your purpose, with your path, with your public roles, also with your reputation. But, because it is at the top of the chart, right? It's like one of the highest points in your natal chart. So it's very public. It's a very seen role. Definitely has to do with like climbing to the top of that mountain, achieving, like getting to achieve your goals, right? And this is why we talk about this in relation to like purpose or career or work, what you're doing with regard to that, right? So that's what we're taking a look at, like whether that, you don't have to be like a business owner or entrepreneur or like have some big lofty goal. Like this could be your work environment, too, although I would say that's more 6th house, but still, so let's just take that as it resonates for you. So we're taking a look at the beginning, middle, and end of the month. Interesting, we have the Justice card, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and then we have the 10 of Wands. It's interesting. I might pull another card for that. We'll see after I get around to the challenge, because I feel like that's related. And then we'll take a look at the spiritual advice, which is the 3 of Wands. So I'm talking about talk about climbing that mountain, make those plans, go after those plans, but we'll get into that. So first card out that we have is the Justice card. I want to make sure that you guys can see that. I know the lighting last month for these cards was like a little difficult and challenging. I'm still trying to see whether I'm going to be able to even use these, or I have to change my lighting in some way to be able to use these. So the Justice card, if any of you are dealing with like law or legal contracts or anything to do with that realm, if you're a lawyer, whatever it is, then you might feel like super resonant with what this is about. It has to do with that. Now, if it doesn't have to do with that, I'm going to say that this Justice card, like what really pops out for me, has more to do with you know, you staying true to yourself with speaking truthfully about what is so for you, and about making sure that things that are done in the realm of your career, in the realm of your business or work or whatever it is, like your public roles, again, like all of these different kinds of themes, that whatever it is that you are doing, that you be sure that you are doing it in a way that is fair and diplomatic, and that's a win-win for everybody, you know, but still with staying true to yourself, still with speaking the piece, right? Like obviously justice, right? We have the scales there. It's definitely about balance and fairness. But I think like another really great word for that is diplomacy, and being diplomatic, and being able to handle like speaking your truth or speaking what's so for you, and staying true to yourself in a way that is in line with those kind of guidelines, right? So I think that that's really important here. Then we come into the middle of the month, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. I really like the Queen of Pentacles for you, honestly. Like this is just such a grounding card, right? I really love how like this is a very nurturing, nourishing, grounding card, right? Like she creates stability and a welcoming like environment, like a sanctuary to come into, you know? So I think that for some of you, I get the sense that some of you are really creating, that this is a part of like you're creating, you have a creative project, or maybe you're in a more like communal environment. Maybe you're creating with a team, or you're working within an organization. But I feel like there is this creating something with more stability and solidity that's coming through in this particular card here. So, and I like that. I like it. It's also about making that, you know, making them ducats, you know? So this could also have to do with like actual financial, like very physical, like real meaning of like having the financial wealth that is occurring, that comes with, you know, financial stability, from having grown something for a period of time, right? It takes time to get to this level of stability. So I feel like that is a theme that's coming through. And then also we have the 10 of Wands that's coming through for the end of the month here, the last third of the month. Oh, you can see my camera up there. So interesting. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to continue to use these cards. You guys let me know what you think about like, about me keeping these. I feel like I don't get to show off all of its brilliance. I think I need different lighting in order for that to happen. So anyways, keep talking about that. So the 10 of Wands, right? You know, you can only do so much. You really can't take it all on yourself. I do feel like you are about to complete or get to the end of some maybe project or some like something that you've been carrying, and you're going to be able to put some of this load down. If that's not the case, if you're just like, oh no, there's so much longer to go, I think that in order to have the stamina to keep going, you're going to have to delegate. You're going to have to like put some of this weight down. You're not going to like, you can't bring it all with you. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to make some choices about how you can lighten the load, because the level, like how heavy this is, the kind of burden that it turns into is like not sustainable. So I think you need to look at either how you can delegate things out, or how you can cut certain things that are not necessary. Like sometimes us holding true to a certain vision that we have and like what we're creating or what we're trying to do in our, you know, especially when it comes to business and career and things like that. It's like we can have this vision that we don't want to let, it's like, no, I've got to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, some of this is not really necessary, right? Like some of this can go. And so you don't have to hold on to all of it. And so I just want to say, like, maybe just embrace the idea that you, there's some things that don't make it through this particular quarter. Maybe you push them off to the next quarter, for instance, right? So, and then we have as your challenge card, we have Temple of My Own Body. So it's such an interesting one, because like it doesn't feel like it really totally relates to this particular reading. I'm gonna pull one extra card just to get a little bit of clarification on that, because I feel like this has more to do with feeling uncomfortable in some of the roles that you're in, and like especially whether it's a public role or, like I said, a role of leadership or that type of, you know, that type of thing. So I feel like there is some like not feeling totally at ease that is a part of this. So let's take a look here. Oh, I see, Leo. I see. Very interesting. So perhaps you're not feeling quite at ease because there are some ways in which you are. I like how this lines up, by the way. I wasn't even intending to do this, but how the Seven of Swords lines right up with like the being true to yourself. And what was right about to come out of my mouth was, hey, you know what? Like maybe you're not being truthful with yourself about, and this doesn't mean that you're a liar and a sneaky sneak and a thief, right? Like, I know that this can represent that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's calling you out on being this. Although if you feel called out, pay attention. I'm just going to say, like, this can also represent, it's like, hey, you know, maybe you're not being true to yourself about like being truthful with yourself about like what it is that is necessary, what you want, what you're creating, like those kinds of things. Other thing to be said though is maybe you're detecting shady vibes, and if you've been detecting shady vibes in this realm, this could be your sign to be like, let me be a little bit more cautious. Let me look into this a little bit more. Like, you know, if there's someone you've been like peeping your eyes at and just kind of going like, I'm not so sure about you. I need to do a little bit more investigating about whether I can trust this person with like these roles or like this in my business or this contract or working with them and collaborating, like whatever it is. I'm going to say, yeah, if you've been getting kind of some vibe in some kind of way, then yeah, maybe this is like you've been feeling uncomfortable in a certain role, or you've been feeling like there is like some kind of tension between you and another person, then I would say like look into that a little bit more. So I don't think that's for everybody. Again, it's a collective reading. So it's really difficult because these are the kinds of readings where it's like I would be pulling multiple cards and getting a lot more like in depth and really a lot more clarity. But because it's a collective reading, I'm like, I'm not so sure. So going back to the temple of my body and noticing like, look at how uncomfortable she feels in this experience. It's like, okay, I don't feel comfortable in this role. I'm not feeling comfortable. And also in this role, when I talk about public roles, we're also talking about like your reputation. Maybe you don't like the way that you're being seen, or you're not comfortable with the way that people are perceiving you in that way. Maybe you feel like people are perceiving you in this particular way, right? And so there is some rectification that you need to take in order to create that as different or to try to mitigate whatever that is, right? So I see that as like showing up in like a, you know, 3 different ways. Yes, this could be about a person, but also this can be about like you not being seen or not feeling comfortable in the way that you're being seen or the role that you're in, and needing to kind of like rectify that in terms of like being seen maybe as like a shady character yourself, or not being true to yourself and therefore not feeling really comfortable in the roles that you're in, because it's like you might feel like that what is it called? Oh gosh, it's like it's not fraud syndrome. It's something similar to that. I don't know why I'm blanking on that right now. Everyone uses it and overuses it. But when you feel like imposter syndrome, there it is. Okay. So like you might be feeling some kind of imposter syndrome because you're not actually speaking your truth. You're not staying true to yourself, and you're not doing this. And so maybe this is coming up as a reflection. So I just want to mention like all the things, because I try to give you guys as much information about like what's coming through at this particular time, because I feel like it's a collective reading and it's got to speak to several people. So then we have your spiritual advice, and your spiritual advice is definitely about like working your way through and making those plans, right? So you've got to like, you've already set certain things in motion, and now it's time to take action on those things, right? So you've already done that, right? You've already, oh gosh, now I'm so aware of like it showing my camera. So, you know, so you've already set certain things in motion, and this is a time where it's like, okay, it's time to like take those steps, make those plans, enact those plans, take action, and move the things forward, right? So, and again, you can't do it all on your own. Like you got to learn to delegate certain things out, you know, but there's some cool stuff in here, Leo. Like I feel like, you know, maybe there's some interesting lessons that are coming through in these areas here, but I'm really digging that Queen of Pentacles there in the middle of the month. There's a sense of stability and security and creating something that feels more safe, right? More stable. And it's like the spiritual advice that you're getting is not like slow down, stop what you're doing. It's like, hey, move that thing forward. Like go climb that mountain if that's what you're doing. So, again, to get a better sense of this, like you can always look back at the readings that I did for this last moon phase, right? Because I do buy it like semi-bi-weekly, because it's not like the moon phases are exact 2 weeks exactly, but like, so I do like these bi-weekly-ish readings for the full to new moon and new to full moon. So I'll have that coming out just a few days after this. And then I will also have the astrology for the first half of June coming up as well. I don't know if I'm going to keep that up. I just want to see if people are really digging that. Like, I'm sure I'll change the format, just like I've been experimenting with this. So anyhow, if you have enjoyed this, if you have gotten some kind of insight from this, please consider giving the video a like. It does help my channel, or subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you can know when all of these videos come out and all the stuff that's going to be coming out on the horizon. I've got a lot of different experiments planned for the rest of this year. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.